Two dive watch titans, the Omega Seamaster and the Rolex Submariner date. Arguably the two most popular, two most recognizable timepieces, the Rolex Submariner in the classic black. And in my opinion, this is probably the most iconic wristwatch of all time. And the Omega Seamaster in blue. And I actually bought this one first. I bought it in blue because I knew that one day I would buy a Submariner and it would surely be black. So this review is going to cover these two pieces. This watch in blue here, we'll start with the Omega Seamaster. Owned it for about a year and a half. It was my daily wear right up until I bought the Submariner. Stainless steel case, stainless steel band. This band is 9 pieces. So while it may look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's actually 9. Because these 3 pieces in the middle here, that's 3 separate pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time you get to the middle, you're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is a 9-piece bracelet. Very cool. Great watch. You know, I have a couple of complaints. We'll get there. It does have a diver's extension, which is really nice. If you were to wear this with a wetsuit, I'm just going to move my sub out of the way here. If you were to wear this with a wetsuit, it would give you a little extra room. Easy to activate. Engraved case back, absolutely beautiful. Very deep engraving. I mean, it really is, it's really pretty stunning. Solid closure. Push both buttons to release. If you just press one, it will not release. Have to press both simultaneously. Comes right off. Very solid feeling. Good bracelet. I always give it the shake test. Feels good. Good bezel. Skeleton hand here so that when it's over the date window, you can still see the date. Kind of a cool feature. Red tip on the seconds hand, which is really nice. And it just barely overlaps the hashes that mark the minutes and hours as it ticks around. It's not the smoothest sweeping movement. I'll compare the two at the end, and it does beat at a slightly slower pace. 28.8 is sort of the standard for a lot of ETA movements, which this is based on an ETA 2892. And 28.8 is also, I think it's 28.8, is also the beats per hour of the Rolex Submariner. And I'll just pull this in so you can compare the two ticking along. A little bit smoother on the Rolly, you know, as it sweeps along the dial. The Omega looks pretty good, but it does have a slight ticking to it. Both watches are a little dirty. I am not a guy that puts watches in safes. I wear them. I don't even own a safe. I wear my watches. Helium escape valve on the side. I'll just put it on so you can see what it looks like on wrist. Looks good. I enjoy the piece. You know, it doesn't really get a lot of wrist time now because of the, in fact, it gets very little. Still a great watch. As for the annoyances, there's really only 2. 1, there is an anti-reflective coating on both the outside and on the inside of the sapphire crystal. So the top, the part I'm touching, has an anti-reflective coating on it, and the inside of the crystal has an anti-reflective coating on it. Why is that bad? Because if you scratch this, it looks like your watch crystal is scratched, even though it's sapphire, because the anti-reflective coating is scratched. Now, I don't think that's happened to me, but it's always sort of in the back of my mind when I wear this watch. You know, the big thing for a sapphire crystal is you don't have to worry about scratching it like you did the watch you had when you were a kid. You know, you scratch that thing and it's done. You have to get it replaced. And so that kind of comes back when you have the anti-reflective coating on top. Now, I've seen a lot of guys on forums get this sanded away or polished off by a jeweler. I like to keep things as they are as long as I can. And one more thing I'm going to try to show is this blue in high light. So it's a pretty nice dark blue, but when it's in direct sunlight, and I'm just shining a flashlight on it, it turns a really nice, vibrant blue. And I just shined a LED on it, but I'll show you what a lamp looks like as well if I can. But it's got a really good color to it. A really good color. That's LED. Let's see. There we go. So it looks really nice. Crystal, very dirty, but I believe watches should be worn. So that's it for that piece. Let's talk about the sub. To me, the most iconic watch ever produced. Sapphire crystal, of course. Brushed bracelet, almost no polish on it. Polish is on the side of the case. Very smooth, unidirectional bezel. And one of my favorite parts about this piece is it keeps amazing time. Rolex tightened their standard to -2 + 2. I think the rest of the industry uses -4 + 6. I've found it gains approximately a second or two per month. I mean, and I wear it daily. I do not wind it manually, nor do I own a watch winder. So just from daily wear, I mean, it really keeps great time. It really does. Case back is plain. My authorized dealer explained to me that this is because Rolex intends for you to have the case back engraved, and when you pass this watch down, they would then have it engraved with their name. I hadn't heard that before, but I guess it makes sense. Kind of a cool story. Cyclops is actually applied to the sapphire crystal, so it is not one piece. This is a sapphire piece, and the Cyclops is actually glued on at the factory. And you can see in this close-up shot around the inside of the watch, it says Rolex, 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 Rolex. I believe this is called the Rehaut, or maybe the Rehaut, R-E-H-A-U-T, not sure on pronunciation. You can see the crown. There's, of course, the crown on the dial, but there's also a crown at 12 o'clock here. So their pip is right where my finger is, and there is a crown engraved in that Rehaut just below it, and then the 12-hour marker. Also in this watch, we'll try to make this visible here. There it is. At 6 o'clock, there is a anti-counterfeit crown etched into the sapphire crystal. I'm going to try to make that visible again. There it is. You can kind of see it. Right at 6 o'clock, right where you see 30, where my thumb is there, you can see the anti-counterfeit crown. Takes a lot of light to be able to see it, but I think you can see it there. So great piece. Absolutely love it. Much more expensive than the Seamaster. That's a major negative. I bought the Seamaster Gray. It was $2,500. I bought this new from an AD. Paid MSRP, which is $8,550, and considered myself lucky to be able to find it. This is a tough to find watch right now. If you were in the market for a Rolex Submariner and you see one on the shelf and you're sure it's the watch for you, I would suggest taking it home that day, because there is a shortage right now, and that comes and goes in cycles. The overall economy is really good, so watches are pretty hard to find. One of the greatest features of this watch is the glide lock clasp, which allows you to micro adjust this piece. So you can plug it into any one of these notches and get a lot of adjustment in that bracelet. And it really allows you to dial in the perfect fit. So I'm going to demonstrate this on wrist. And I love putting this watch on. I wear it every day. Very satisfying. And notice this snap. I think this is one of the cool, subtle things of Rolex. Notice how this bracelet, this clasp, is actually a spring-loaded piece. See that? So when I put it on, it snaps into place. So when I take it off, you're lifting that piece. I think that's so awesome. I had never seen that before. So snap on, further secured, and there it is. Great wrist presence. Love the watch. Love this watch. You know, and I think the Seamaster is great too. You know, I think this is a great piece. Let me put that on my other wrist here just so you can see both. And there's the Seamaster. And the sub. Let's see if we can get them all. There we go. Now the sub will remain my daily wearer. I don't think I'll sell the Seamaster. I really like it. It doesn't keep great time. That kind of irks me. I lose maybe 4 or 5 seconds in 24 hours. But you know, that's specific to my watch only, I realize. There is my local Omega boutique has offered to install a glide lock clasp for me. It's only about 130 bucks. They do it in the boutique, and when you send it back to Omega, there are no issues. If you modify your Rolex and you send it back to Rolex, they will send it back to you, factory original, dispose of the aftermarket part, and bill you for the part they replaced. So Omega does not do that. You know, I think they kind of recognize that the lack of a glide lock clasp is a bit of a miss here. It would certainly make it fit and feel better, and it's okay. You know, it's all right. For 2,500 bucks, it's a good watch. My issue with this piece is it's based on an ETA 2892, and paying $2,500 for an ETA-based movement, not my favorite thing. Beautiful watch. Raised, I don't think I talked about this earlier, but raised or applied Omega logo and hour markers. I think that's awesome. Instead of just printed on the dial, the Rolex is just printed on there. Of course, the hour markers are 18 karat white gold and raised, but the applied Omega logo is, to me, that's really something else. That's a great touch. A lot of watch for 2,500 bucks. If yours keeps great time, you know, if it's not losing 4, 5, 6 seconds a day, that's great. Unfortunately, mine probably needs to go back for service. Came from gray market, not covered by warranty, so it'll be a $500 check, $550 maybe, that I've got to write to Omega. And right now, I'm just so content with my sub. Haven't found myself wanting to do it. Anyway, that's it. If there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know. If there's any feature that you'd like more explanation of, I'm happy to cover it. But I think that will sum it up for today. Give you one last look at both pieces off wrist on table. Man, that blue is awesome. Look at that. Two divers. The titans of the industry. Thanks for watching.